isn't built in yet either. But... All right, sorry.
That's all right.
Azubu has that, don't they?
What?
No, Cloth has that, dude.
Clough, yeah.
Yeah,
Clough has that.
Okay, guys. Well, why don't we do some?
Shit, does it?
Why don't we do some viewer Q&A? There's a lot of questions on the Reddit thread. If you have a question, why don't you go ahead and post it on the Reddit thread here? I'll link it here. Hopefully Nightbot doesn't ban me from my own channel. But there's already a bunch in here, so I'll start off with the oldest one. Some good ones for all of us. And okay, God, the first one's like a long one. Shit. Damn. Okay. Let's see. God, this one has like five pieces. Okay, so question from Mischief. He always has a bunch of them. We'll read a couple of them. SC2 for some reason was more NA focused for a while with people saying the NA audience was most important, with Team Liquid starting their headquarters in NA, with most major personalities and tournaments being NA based and so on. Nowadays, the perception is that Europe or European esports scene is healthier. Why did this perception change, if I'm reading this correctly, and does it reflect real developments? What do you think?
In my opinion, that's not a good thing. Europe is great. NA had a huge potential audience, but it just never developed. So I don't know if, I'm not bashing Europe, but I don't know if the whole moving everything towards Europe is more of a, wow, Europe has really grown and embraced StarCraft 2 and that's really cool, more so of a, StarCraft 2 never really caught on as much as it should have in NA or Korea. But,
I mean, I don't know if stuff's really moving to Europe. Like, the only thing that's moving
true.
to Europe is Team Liquid, and that's just more, like, logistical, what works with their staff.
Sure.
So, I mean...
But I understand, like, the perception is now that Europe holds more value than the NA scene now. Would you agree with that? Do you think so?
Yeah, I think people are kind of... But it's... I don't really agree with that perception. It's like...
You don't think that the European scene is more powerful in terms of viewership? Well,
if you like break it down, it's like if something is on at like a time that's decent for both, right? Like 8 p.m. Eastern time, or maybe a bit earlier than that, but like you'll get like 35% of the audience is North American and like 65% is European. So
sure, but I just mean like at one point in time, it would have been more like, we can only schedule this tournament at one time, sorry, you're fucked. But now it might be more like, we can only schedule this tournament at one time, you better wake up early, America, you know? Like, I don't know. I feel like 2 years ago, the focus was on the NA scene. I feel like the NA scene was...
I think it was more just people started to learn and realize that you need that global audience more so, because it's there, right? Like, because
Sure.
I mean, a big part was like MLG, for example, right? Because way back in the day, they'd have the bracket and it would be like 12, 14-hour days every time. So like, yeah, it's going to end late. That's just, it's a big tournament, right? But then they just realized, hey, if we end earlier, we get more people watching at that point, blah, blah, blah. So I know some MLGs we were done at like 5 p.m. We're like, holy shit, this ended so early because it's on the West Coast, and they wanted to try and hit all those time zones. At the same time, a big thing with MLG was the fact that before they were using Twitch, and even I think sometimes when they were using Twitch because of the CBSI stuff, they would just better monetize the North American viewership because it's American. So when those ads are played for those people, they make more money. So, if you have more viewership in the States, like if you have less peak viewership because you're targeting the West Coast of the States, but if you get more viewers that you make money off, then it's more valuable. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think the North American audience is still there. I think it's just more of just the way the scene has gone, because I feel like if you look at DreamHack every year does more events and just kind of slowly gets bigger and bigger, whereas MLG just kind of bust out the door, and IPL was right there too, where like 100 tournament, $75,000, and it was so big and everything, whereas IPL's obviously dead, NASL's not functioning the way it was, and MLG's not doing StarCraft, so it's just like, it's more like circumstance with these companies than anything else. And so with Europe, you've got ESL doing so well with WCS, and then you've got DreamHack, who's basically still gaining momentum, I'd say. So it's just like, the European scene just looks better. And then, I mean, if the Koreans could play on the European server without latency, like, there would be just as many Koreans playing in that WCS as well, making that scene look dead and whatever else too. So
let's be honest, how many organizations are running tournaments in the NA And how many organizations are running tournaments in the EU right now, right? I mean, it's
Well, how do you define tournament? Like, how big? Like, I mean,
mid.
I mean, you've got Aces Rock, Home Story Cup, DreamHack, and IEM, but IEM's kind of everywhere, though.
And you're talking about multiple events from those people.
And then, but Red Bull is done, what, they've done 4. This will be their 5th event if they have that many invites. Like,
I mean, over what, 2 years? I mean,
yeah, but
years?
I mean, I don't know. It's like, as I look at it, like MLG is running Dota in a similar way to they ran StarCraft, so they could still be doing StarCraft. They, like, when you look at the viewership, it's, you know, maybe not as high as they'll get with Dota, but it's still good viewership, good guaranteed event turnout. So
they could be doing StarCraft, but I don't think we'll ever see StarCraft at every single MLG again.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised.
But why not if it's good, like, and if they can do stuff with it? So to me, that's where Blizzard came in with WCS and just kind of pushed everything into a box, shook it up, and everything's still like landing and settling, right? So I don't know. The NA scene is just kind of.
I mean, how many options do we have in NA now? I mean, even if it was MLG was doing them, it's still only one company with Red Bull. And Red Bull's only done 2 events this year, guys. I mean, it's not like...
Yeah, there's only 2.
We're not talking like they had 4 stops, like a typical MLG.
I mean, Aces only did 1 event in Europe.
Yeah, okay.
I mean...
Well, it's Iron Squid, Aces...
Well, Iron Squid hasn't done an event in ages.
Did they? They did one
They
this
did
year.
2. What?
Did they not do one this year? I guess they... Did they not do one this year?
They've had 2, that's to my knowledge, and
okay.
it feels like it's been a very long time.
I thought they did one this year. God, I don't know why I thought they did one this year. Regardless, there's still a lot more options over there, and that's why I actually think in NA there's opportunity.
Yeah, but go look at all these major tournaments. How much money are like these European players actually winning? Like,
I mean, okay, that's a good point.
Like Koreans.
So you have the advantage if you live in Europe, because at least all of your countries are poor, so at least smaller money over there looks like more.
No, well, I think that's actually the biggest factor is the cost of living. Like, dude, White Raw living in Ukraine can, you know, it's the same reason like that. England can't produce good pro gamers because it's too expensive cost of living there. And so living in the States trying to be a pro gamer, like, it's way more expensive. You have to worry about healthcare and all, you know, whatever else, right? Whereas in Europe, it's usually much easier to get by. And, like, you know, for players like Bly and Straylock and, you know, the guys from Ukraine and whatnot, like, it's much, much cheaper to be able to just be like, I'm going to just not make money for a while and do this.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next question. Hopefully, with NA, there'll be more... hopefully, there'll just be more organizations pop up doing some even smaller tournaments. I'd love to just see that, honestly. Just more smaller tournaments popping up and maybe scaling eventually themselves. Okay, next question. Music-related question for Destiny, I guess. There's something called the Hanon exercises, which are influential finger exercises for piano players. Actually, you should ask me this question. I've been dabbling and trying some of them for my own amusement and discovered they helped me with my typing speed and accuracy. Do you think this sort of thing has potential for professional players?
No, that's completely placebo. Nothing you learn on the piano is going to help you typing on a keyboard.
Fuck you. That's not true.
I don't think so.
That's not true. Well, okay, I can tell you for a fact that the Hanon exercises are great for finger speed because my level of StarCraft isn't, you know, super high, but I think my finger speed is very high.
Yeah, but finger speed in and of itself is meaningless. Like, let's talk about, like, the real talk,
dude,
which is, like, having effective finger speed. Like, okay, so if you can play the piano very fucking fast, then I'm sure that you could play that you could type on the keyboard really fast. But typing actual words on the keyboard fast, nah, you're not going to find a correlation there. When you're talking about moving quickly on the piano or moving quickly on the keyboard, what you're talking about is learning patterns with your fingers and being able to execute those patterns very quickly. Learning a pattern for one completely different thing isn't going to all of a sudden make it so that your patterns on the other thing become better. Like, those are still patterns you're going to have to sit and learn. I don't think that nobody.
You still train stamina in your fingers, though. I mean, it's...
a little bit, but the problem is nobody has such a lack of stamina in their fingers that, like, everybody here right now in the audience could smash their fingers on the keyboards fast enough to type out 180 words per minute. But to actually make meaningful patterns out of it, like, that's a separate thing, I think. In my opinion.
I see what you're saying, and I think you do have a point, but I think if we're looking at, like, dude, your fucking keyboard is loud as shit, dude.
He's trying the Hammond things on the keyboard.
He's trying the Hammond
I'm trying it out, man.
It's like Hanon and Cherney. No, but the thing is if you're looking for just highest potential, right, a person with super fast fingers are going to be, it's going to be fast. I mean, yeah, do they have to be fast at thinking too, and just having, their mind and their fingers like react super fast too? Sure, but you have to have the physical ability to be super fast. It's a little bit easier in StarCraft 2, honestly, because we can remap our keys. Like in StarCraft 1, it was a little bit crazier.
If you physically can't push the fingers fast enough on the keyboard, I would suggest going to see a doctor.
God, whatever.
Dude, like,
Whatever.
come on, it's not that hard to push keys on a keyboard. If that's like exhausting
Have you seen Lucira? Have you seen Lucira?
Yeah, I mean, look at Lucira. I mean,
He
Lucira's
plays piano.
finger speed is
Sure.
crazy.
But he's also really good at. I could make those same movements that he does, but I couldn't actually make them like meaningful actions in StarCraft.
Maybe
like,
you need to get better piano.
Exactly.
Okay, maybe.
No, all I'm saying is that like the finger speed translate, just the APM speed on your left hand was so easy for me. Like I didn't think anything of it, Because I remember I was taking lessons from, it was like Titan at the time, and I remember he saw me live once at MLG because I played just for the hell of it. And he was like, "Holy shit, your hand's like super fast." Like it was way faster. But obviously,
Maybe,
my
but,
right
like,
hand
I've-
sucks.
like, I remember
my
giving-
mouse accuracy sucks.
I
but-
remember that there have been kids that I've given lessons to who actually had really. I remember I gave lessons to this one kid who was in like Plat who had ridiculous APM, like higher than mine, and like I didn't even understand because he played. Like he had like 20,000 like resources. Like he was floating so much money. His macro was terrible.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like you have to spend your money. Like it's a big problem. Blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah. I've been working really hard on like raising my APM recently. Like I've been reading shit and like getting my APM is really important. And it's like that's not true at all. Like you've got like APM and then you've got like EAPM. Like
Yep.
your effective actions per minute are way more important than however many times you can just bang a keyboard. Like it's not gonna help you that much, in my opinion.
It's part of the equation, but yeah, it doesn't give you everything. No, that's the other Titan, dude. There's a different Titan, PvP Titan. Okay, next question. Provocative question for Adebisi. Do you think that SC2 observers can be replaced by more sophisticated observing capabilities? For instance, if you had a button for follow the main army, check production facilities, cycle through these predetermined tabs, go to drop, run by, in that case, couldn't one of the casters easily do the observing as well?
Well, I mean, that sounds like you're just automating it, which I guess is possible.
If you freaking
In a game like
artificial
Dota,
intelligence.
in a game like Dota or a game like League, that would be a lot easier to do because writing the algorithms to do that would be easier because pretty much there's like 10 places the camera could be, which is over 1 of 10 champions, more or less, maybe some key objectives. I think in StarCraft it would be a lot harder to program an algorithm that would remain relevant throughout the entire game to do that. It seems like it would be a lot more challenging.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to lose any sleep over this.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
possible. I think like there's a lot of back-end stuff that could be done to like make it better. I don't know, but I
You can't do anything about that though, because
no.
All right, Murphzor asks, I guess this is for Adebisi. As an observer, how do you stop yourself from falling asleep in late game PvT? not bad.
I usually find like ZVP and like I don't know. Once they took Daybreak out of the map pool, things got a lot better. But yeah,
ZVP with the swarm host. Oh my god.
Dude,
That's
ZVP and
good.
Wings of Liberty was the most fucking boring shit. I would
It
like,
was.
I would
It
kill
was.
myself
It
every
was.
time I'd queue up, knowing that it was going to be like a 55-minute match. Jesus Christ, it's such a terrible matchup for every player involved.
yeah. I mean, it does get boring sometimes, but what are you gonna do? I don't find TV. I'm surprised it's like TVP because it's like very rarely do you have like that long of a match. That matchup.
Yeah, TVP's been. I don't know. It hasn't been that boring. I mean,
I don't know. It's just like Bio Ball versus
Yeah, it hasn't
Colossus
changed.
Templar Ball. Like it's the
Yeah.
exact same thing. It's been for 3 years. So
that hasn't changed at all.
yeah.
That's why all those people crying out mech, man. It's like crazy. Okay, Dark Scream asks, what do you guys think is... Wait, which do you guys think... I'm just rephrasing for it. Which do you guys think is better? To win almost never, but win big when you do like Bomber, or get second place every fucking time like J-Dong?
I mean,
You know my
no matter
answer.
how.
You know my answer.
ChanMan has the wrong answer. I mean, if you're looking financially, obviously being second more and more is good and good. But I guess if you just want to make like a big splash and piece the fuck out, then...
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of depends. I mean, J-Dong's kind of a weird example because like he's, so accomplished before StarCraft 2, so it's kind of.
Well, just forget if it's J-Dong. Just in general, somebody who finishes
But,
second all
yeah.
the time.
I don't know. I think they're both just great. So.
God, what a shitty answer. Come on, dude.
Who cares? I don't know. Does it matter? I'd probably rather like it depends.
No answer matters. I
Like,
mean,
do you just win once? Like, are you like a fucking MVP sniper? You win once and then that's it? Or
Dude,
like,
that's what I mean. If I just like win
Yeah.
once and then piece the fuck out, I guess you could do that. That'd be pretty funny. Win once and do something crazy and then piece the fuck out. Like slap your opponent with your dick on stage and like collect the money and leave. Something like that. That would be fucking funny. Obviously, you wouldn't be invited back to any more tournaments. So nobody would ever forget you.
yeah,
probably,
that's
like,
one way to go
Fortnite's
about
just
it.
might do, so.
That's definitely one way to go about it. For me, it's. I mean, if you're like a one-hit wonder, then it's pretty debatable for me. But if you're a guy that's pretty consistent, not finishing second every time, but let's say finishing top 10 or top 20 every time, and you get a win, I don't know. I think a win speaks a lot. I mean, for one, you're actually in history. You're down in history. Like you actually won this event. Like nobody remembers second place, right?
Damn, dude.
What are you talking about? More people are talking about how Jadon gets second in everything than that Bomber won.
Well,
But
to be
it's
fair,
Jadon.
if he
though.
wasn't
Like,
Jadon.
it's Jadon.
Yeah.
That's another reason. So
Well, I think if any player got, because what is he? It's 2 DreamHack events and then WCS America
it's 4
and
in a
now
row.
this.
I mean,
Like,
it's 4 in a
if
row.
any player got those 4 second places, I think that would still be.
People would probably talk about him quite a bit, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't we have somebody?
cursed.
Didn't we have somebody? We had somebody finish second a lot. Wasn't it DRG or something? Somebody finished second a lot for a period
Yeah,
of time.
Marine King
I
was
always
doing that.
finish
Oh,
second
Marine
on
King.
your
Marine
mom.
King. That's who it was. Marine King. Yeah. So. Okay, let's see. For Adebisi, when is the good show coming back? Has Semler been fired yet? When?
I've been trying to get Summer fired for a while, but I don't think it's happened yet.
That's never happened.
I don't know when the good show's coming back. Hopefully in September or October, but we'll see. I think Too Good is too busy. I think he's been streaming Hearthstone for like 24 hours or something.
I was
so
watching it yesterday.
Apparently.
Oh, that's probably why he's
That-
so mad about the donation things then. He's got shitty fucking cards and he sees all these other
No.
streamers
He
donation.
tweeted that before he started
So he
streaming,
thought that if he would complain about it, people would donate to him, like reverse psychology kind of thing. That's
If
pretty
you guys
smart.
could please donate to Too Good, that might get the show back faster.
Yeah.
So
You should find his PayPal and I could start
you guys
like,
weren't
tweeting
making
it.
enough fucking.
you can just send it to MikeVanDriel@gmail.com and I'll pass it along to him. It's fine.
Holy shit, dude.
it's
I'm gonna do like a Doctors Without Borders stream, and at the end, I'll be like, if you guys can find it in the kindness of your hearts, James Harding would really appreciate it if you could send
Oh
whatever
god,
money
that
you
would be
want.
hilarious, dude. That would be hilarious.
He would really, really appreciate it.
Do that.
He
do
really
that.
needs new packs because the decks that he has right now just aren't cutting it.
Those decks suck.
Seriously, that'd be awesome. Okay, next question. I kind of mixed them up. Let's see. Well, no, that's not good. There's a question about a resume. Where the fuck was it? Okay, in terms of pro players retiring, will we ever have professional StarCraft player be something you can put on a resume? I know, for instance, that certain companies financial tend to take your application more seriously if you have been a CEST, IM, or GM, since you demonstrated discipline and high-level mental skills in the past. You still need other qualifications, obviously. So yeah, so will start being in particular, a professional StarCraft 2 player or StarCraft player ever be an asset to you in terms of trying to find a non-esports job? What do you guys
I
think?
think it depends. I mean, if I was like Stefano, I'd put that on my resume and then I'd be like, I won all this money. This is legit. But if I was like Destiny, I probably wouldn't put it on there.
Oh,
I don't
Yeah,
know.
dude.
oh shit. Steven, what do you think?
I mean, it depends on what you've accomplished, I guess.
I think it depends on the job too. If you're like applying to be like a fucking engineer or like a systems administrator, then
I don't think it matters. I mean, I don't think you should. I think there is a level of which a level of being a StarCraft 2 professional that you probably need to get to, but I don't think you need to win to be for it to be legit, because you're traveling the world, right? You are traveling the world. You're probably representing some sponsors if you've been on a team, and I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of.
I mean, it depends on
things.
what you've done. Like, so like, say, like, I'll use myself as an example. Like, depending on the kind, like, let's say I wanted a job at Best Buy, right? I would obviously cite like my computer experience, the stuff that I've built in terms of computers, and the fact that I'm around it a lot. Like, I would try to cite that as experience for some shit. Let's say that you wanted to get a job with like a marketing or PR firm or something. I don't know. I guess like if you were somebody like not Stefano.
I would fit that.
Like if you were somebody like maybe like in control or something, you could say like I've been in the public eye for this many times and I've been able to give speeches and like do like improvisation at live events for this long and have always been representing other brands and shit, like that would look really good. Like if
We're
you
talking
wanted to
players. We're talking players in particular, not like hosting
I mean,
casters and all that stuff.
I don't think that esports are respected enough such that if you were just a player, most people in the adult world wouldn't respect that. I don't think. As shitty as that sounds, if you were to tell somebody like I won a StarCraft 2 event, I don't think many people would give a fuck.
I guess it matters if the person, like the interviewer, for instance, knows StarCraft.
Yeah, and that goes back to
also.
what Adebisi says. It would depend on the kind of job.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's probably true. Okay, let's see. Next up, we got a lot of questions, man. Where are all the Kickstarter documentaries? I have no idea.
They're coming.
Yeah, that the Navi one, Navi one, pretty good.
What Navi one?
Well, the one that they were announcing, right?
Oh, I didn't even know.
Let's see. Adebisi, one of Dota 2's biggest complaints from the spectator perspective is that the observer usually sucks and misses first blood team fights primarily because the camera is also controlled by the casters. Would you consider being an observer for Dota?
I wouldn't want to do it for Dota, but I think Dota streams would be better if they use them. I mean, there's some casts because I watch a little bit of Dota, and sometimes like they just like miss 2 kills, and you're just kind of like, oh,
yeah,
I guess that happened. So it's obviously a need for it. I mean, it's actually kind of weird with TI how they didn't use anyone because like with the qualifiers at the Good Studio, we had like Scriff doing the observing, and it worked well. You know, it's good, and then you free up the casters because like usually the casters are like making the lobby and doing all that other crap too, and so. Yeah,
I mean, they did so much other things. I mean, production wise, I'm surprised they didn't, take that added step.
I don't know. It's the kind of thing that like non-esportsy people don't really think about. They're just like, there's the gameplay and that's it, and they don't really think about stuff that goes along with that. So who knows? Maybe it'll pick up more. It really depends. It's all like a budget thing. I mean, the only reason it really picked up in StarCraft is because the Korean organizations all have it like religiously, and for everyone else, it's just more money in the budget. So all about the budget. So
yeah. Yeah. I wish they had a zoom out though. I wish there was a better zoom out feature for both. I mean, is there a zoom out feature in League? I don't even know if there is in League because it never encapsulates the entire screen. Like ever since we've been able to do it, like in StarCraft, I feel like a lot of the engagements have been way better. Like way better from the standpoint of cam work and
the problem that you get into there. So I'm talking a little bit of shit here, okay? Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong again. When you get these game designers together and they create a game and they optimize these games over a huge level of platforms, they're optimizing the game such that it's being viewed in a particular way, like at 1080p. Like the game is optimized such that you can see as much as you can see on the screen, and like that's how it's made and tested and benched and blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. When you talk about backing up and zooming out, you're starting to throw like a huge amount of data on the screen that the game was never intended to show you. And when you have things like no level of detail scaling on a game, like in a lot of games, if you look at an object really far away, you don't actually see that real object. There are polygons that will replace the ones that were there before to make the object less detailed, right? It's something called level of detail, so that when you zoom away, the thing's not as complicated so that you're not rendering as much and your GPU isn't dying. If to back off on screens like that would require a lot of backend support from developers, in order to not have it lag like shit. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I feel like watching Dota, I'm never really thinking like, oh, I wish I could zoom out.
Because usually the screen has been made such that you should be able to see all of the action.
Yeah, it's like another thing with like Tempest and StarCraft 2, when it's like, okay, this fucking unit can fire across the entire screen, but.
You don't have that issue with the MOBAs like with Dota 2 and League. I feel like there's always a part of the battle that's just off screen because especially when the big team fights, there's always multiple skirmishes. I usually find
they can't show everything anyway. Like at the end of a team fight, 2 heroes will be running opposite directions and both be getting chased, and you can only show one, and that's just kind of the reality of the situation.
Yeah. Okay. Not to mention that like you're talking about games that have so much going on during team fights, it's almost impossible to talk about it anyway. It's not like widening the screen is going to give the casters the ability to talk 50 million fucking words, like to talk about every single thing that's happening anyway,
True, but
one of the things that League does that I like is that MLG's done for StarCraft 2. I'm sure they do it for Dota. If they have, I haven't seen it, but I'm sure they do. Is where they'll have like I don't know if it's a second observer or what, but they'll do like instant replays over action that might have been
Yeah,
missed or
those are
whatever
good.
after a team fight and shit, and like that can help catch up on some things that you might have missed before. But
That's
I mean,
right,
like,
yeah.
fucking MOBAs are so much information on the screen already. To put even more, I feel would just like clusterfuck a person's mind even more, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I really like the idea of like instant replays, but if you want to do that, you basically need like a second observer that's going to watch what the main one doesn't, and then you need like a producer who's much more knowledgeable about everything. Because usually when they do instant replays, it's just like an instant replay of what they just showed,
What they did? Yeah, that would suck. That's not good.
as opposed to doing an instant replay of what wasn't shown. So.
Sure.
Well, I liked what they did at TI, where they waited until the series ended to really do the analysis and the instant replays of the highlights, right, from each of the games. I definitely like that much better than the right after a single game type of thing. Okay, next up we got. Okay, someone was asking this earlier, so I'm just gonna ask you. How do you guys feel about the Dyrus and Reggie blow up?
I mean, I don't know. I watched like the one video where a guy's just yelling, and I just like I don't know. Are these people just retards? Like I don't know. I don't really know what to say.
Oh, did you watch the like 3 videos after that?
Yeah, they kept making vlogs about it. It's like I don't know.
Yeah.
Shouldn't Riot just tell these guys?
I
to,
know.
like, shut
Well, I
up?
can't. I couldn't believe the
what are
videos
they
are
paying
still
them
up.
for?
Yeah, it's Steven, what'd you think?
I don't know. I felt really bad for my boy Dyrus. He's not really my boy, but I felt bad.
Which
for him.
one's that? He's the one.
Dyrus was the guy that was playing the game. Yeah.
Okay. Reginald's the guy who like owns the team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, team owner and player though. That's like the biggest problem. Is that he owns the team and he's a player and he's like super fucking critical of everybody else. He's driven players off of the team before. So like I don't know, there's a lot of problems there. I haven't watched too much of Reginald in the past to have have a strong opinion on him, but after watching him in that Dyrus video, I'm pretty convinced that Reginald has like some serious like interpersonal problems when it comes to talking to people. Pretty sure that in any other situation, somebody would have turned around and like smacked him in the face or like beat the shit out of him for being incredibly fucking annoying. But since he's Reginald, they can't.
I mean,
do
it
that.
seems like a lot of these LCS teams have problems with like how they're structured and conflicts of interest and all that stuff. So.
Well, I don't know if
funny.
I would agree with that. Not so much as TSM. TSM is like the ultimate example of a really fucked up scenario where a lot of people don't feel that Reginald should be in the position he's in, but he kind of has to be.
Well, he did. Well, he was going to take a step back at one point, right?
Reggie?
Then, like,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk of him actually taking a step back and not being in the starting lineup, but then like he was right back in it like immediately after. So it's just like
I don't remember that
sure.
ever. In season 1,
was,
Reggie was way too good to ever
God,
consider
was,
stepping back. Maybe in season 2 sometime it happened. I don't know.
It was God. When was it? I can't remember. But it was after some big tournament. They talked about it, and then.
Oh, somebody said he retired for one day.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
he literally took a
I
step.
remember that.
Yeah,
that was big news.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, "No, never mind." Like,
well, what's interesting about it? We're talking about a League of Legends team, obviously, right? Is that a lot of the Dota 2 teams take a lot of criticism for just all the craziness that goes on after TI, like all the player switches, right, and teams dropping players and all people jumping teams and switching teams.
I don't think they get that much criticism. It's just like the end of the season. It's like a new draft and trades happen. Like,
well, but a lot of people, like to see the teams just the same people on the teams, because they're kind of the faces of the team. So I think some fans hate it to see their players leave their favorite teams. So in this case, I think it's like we're kind of talking the opposite, right? We're talking about like people that maybe we should be seeing more kind of turnover, and I guess does Riot allow for this type of thing? I mean,
but Riot allowed like what team was it that switched 3 players? Like, if you switch 3 players in an LCS team, it's pretty much a new team, like
yeah, seriously. Mm-hmm.
So
okay, so it's really up
I
to
don't think
team.
there's
The
more
team gets
roster
knocked
swapping
out.
in League than Dota. Like, if anything, it's more like people in a League team, because they're salaried by Riot, are going to do everything they can to stay on that team, to keep getting paid, whereas like a Dota player might be like, okay, I'm going to go to school or do something where I can make more money. So
Right. I wonder if it has any influence on, like, what if a team just wanted to get rid of a super high profile player? I wonder if Riot has any influence on that at all. Okay, HRV Vi asks, what's your opinion on Ubisoft's recently announced the Next Level eSports tournament that includes games such as Assassin's Creed, Just Dance and Rayman. What do you guys think of that? Do you guys even know about it?
That sounds like the future of esports.
Yeah, and esports is going mainstream, and I think it's
Right here,
really
Steven.
good, and all of us need to get behind it. So
I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time to train for that though. After I grind my 12 hours of Infinite Crisis every day.
Dude, I think you could. I think you'd have more success at this thing than you would. I mean, just training for like a week than anything else. But
And it's also great that IGN is covering esports again, because after IPL went under, they said that they're going to refocus on just
That's
coverage
right.
for esports, right?
That's
and here
right.
they are. Got an article about Ubisoft's new esports push.
that's
I'm really
right.
concerned about Shootmania, though, because Shootmania I didn't see listed on here. Apparently it was in the video.
Dude, Shootmania requires too much skill. Okay, that's
Yeah,
why.
it's a real
There's a
esports
skill. There's a skill. What bottom? I don't even know how to even call it. There's a very low skill cap here. But Just Dance, Rayman. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. What to
I don't think
about
is this
that.
actually like an esports stuff, or is it just
This
like
is
a
this is almost like a
one-time
reality
one-off?
show, like, or I don't even know what to think of it.
It's that just that PAX. They're just doing a bunch of tournaments there, and they're trying to be all esports. Yeah, I don't know, because
It's not
I
even
don't know,
esports. I mean, it's like total.
what's esports, Chan, man?
Okay, all right, fine. Shit.
Yeah, actually,
Okay,
I'm
it's
gonna be the
esports.
first one to do that. Or ChanMan, let's do
It's
it. Let's pool
esports.
our money. We should have. How sick would it be to have a speedrunning tournament? Holy fuck!
Speedrunning tournament.
Yeah, that would be sick as shit. To see people doing like certain star runs or whatever, like an MLG stage, to have like fucking Cosmo
Like
and that other
people
dude on
playing like
stage.
Super Monkey Ball head to head, that kind of.
No, like fucking like speedrunning like
No,
Mario
no,
or Zelda
it's
games
Mario.
and shit, like on stage, like at fucking
7
MLG or some
hours.
shit. That would be well, not they obviously you wouldn't choose like the full 100%.
Yeah, no, I
completion
think
runs,
it
but
could be cool too. They
that
like,
shit
I've
would be
watched-
insane because everybody knows those games. Everybody's played them.
Speedruns would be
Everybody's
cool.
familiar with them. Those people on their own have huge fan bases. That shit would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think that would be very entertaining.
I think it's
agree.
the kind of thing that would fit in at like a DreamHack event. Also have like a speedrunning thing happening there or something like that. You know, like I mean, I guess it would work at MLG too. I don't know.
I mean, what they're trying to accomplish is the real, that whole octathlon, whatever you call it, pentathlon or whatever, where you play a bunch of games, right? And whoever's just generally the best at games would be the winner. And I don't know. I think it is somewhat compelling, but it's more gimmicky and entertaining than esports, in my opinion.
More gimmicky.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's just when you throw in Just Dance in there, it's like, I mean, that's
Oh,
a
they're-
completely
they-
different thing, man. It's like, I
Yeah, no, I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, you get whatever.
Yeah, it's
No,
something I would
yeah.
give it like there are Madden tournaments every year, aren't there? Like it's not a big deal. Like
Yeah,
Madden?
yeah, there are.
Madden's
Madden tournaments are big too, aren't they?
yeah,
Like
Madden's
100,000?
huge. I played in a bunch of Madden tournaments like 10 years ago.
Oh shit!
They're fun. I mean, they're highly competitive too, but it's just one game. That's not like playing 5 games, right? Like playing Madden, then you have to play, I don't know, StarCraft, and then CS, and and that sort of thing. I don't know. What do you think of that? What if they set up a tournament that was, you have to play StarCraft against each other, then you got to play like, I don't know, Quake against each other.
I
I'm
think
trying
you'd
to
see
think of.
like really crappy games of StarCraft and Quake, and it wouldn't be very good.
Right,
Like,
right, okay, yeah, that's
Or
cool.
really awesome games of StarCraft and Quake.
yeah, okay.
Bro, you can lie to yourself all you want, but watching untrained people play StarCraft that are good is a lot more entertaining than watching metas settle. Nothing is more boring than watching a meta settle in any game, in my opinion. That's what made StarCraft
Yeah, I
and
can
Liberty
see
so
that.
horrendously fucking boring, and that's why Heart of the Swarm was so exciting at the beginning, because you saw all these people trying new strategies and there was so much more action. But now everything in StarCraft 2 has been fucking this huge circle jerk to gear everything towards the most ridiculously stale and boring metas as possible. The maps are all fucking atrociously
Well, that's
used.
because
They're better.
people
They're
They all
getting
follow
better.
the
They're
same
getting
fucking
better.
design.
Vision.
Every map is more or less the same, except there's a different fucking layout so that everybody can go fucking
They're
3
getting
base or
better.
2 base Terran, 2 base Terran. We can all get to the same. You just said it like an hour ago. Like every TVP is still like Bioball versus Templar Colossus. And
Well, that's true, but the TVTs have been exciting. I think those games have been really.
I remember
really
in
good
Brood
recently.
War, programmers had to prepare strategies for individual maps.
Yeah, but
That's
the
what-
problem is
that's
right
what
now,
Bomber did. That's what
the
Bomber
people
did this week.
people like in charge of the map pools and stuff, they don't really know what to do, so they listen to pro gamers, and all pro gamers
Oh,
want
God,
is the maps
yeah.
to stay the same because they don't want to
Yeah,
learn a
that's
new map,
exactly
and they
right.
don't want to have to learn a new style.
Mhm.
So the pro gamers bitch like fuck on Twitter, and then they will never incorporate a new map because then it's like all the fans on Reddit are like, "Hey guys,
fucking hate that shit
here.
too.
This map is blah 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 blah, and then
Oh, I
they
hate
never
that.
add a new map again. So
Yeah, it's like a never. It's like a cycle, a vicious
that's why
cycle.
it
It's
worked in Brood
terrible.
War because
I mean-
Tesla's like, here are the fucking maps, play them, and if you
Yeah.
don't like it, have fun losing.
Blizzard should have never. I mean, this is like going back in the past, but Blizzard should have never been making maps ever. Why? Why was that ever a thing? Why did we ever let that be a thing where Blizzard was making maps? Dude, at the end of Brood War, if somebody would have suggested to play any fucking Kespo game on like a Brood War map, like, come on, like, who would agree to that? Like, people would fucking laugh at you. That was one of the best fucking things about Kespo, the amazing maps that we got out of them.
So I think
I can't believe that we settled for Blizzard making maps in StarCraft 2.
Sure, I mean, you're right about that, but I think we've actually made progress there. I think 3 new maps were made from the map making
and all the
community.
map making
So,
teams just
yeah.
disbanded. So I don't know.
Well, they're still
I mean, my two
okay,
biggest
so
things of progress are the regress from getting rid of some stupid Blizzard things like the fucking watchtowers and shit. Those are gone now, aren't they? Are there still watchtowers in
It
maps?
depends on the map. A lot of
Yeah, it
maps
depends
still
on the
have them.
map. Some of those are gone.
I mean, ultimately, like, we could talk hours on this, but it's just like you can't have that good maps because of stuff like force field and warping.
Yeah.
All these constraining
But like that was the
mechanics
problem. That was the
pop up.
problem with Wings of Liberty. They never balanced the game. They just made all of the maps fucking huge.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you ever
let's
notice
be-
that?
But
Yeah,
let's be
You
fair.
should draw. You should draw. You know what would be a really funny graph? Find a statistician out there to do a keyword search on StarCraft subreddit for like balance, like complaints, and then graph that over time with like the average
Map
amount of
size.
pixels. Yeah, with map size, and I bet you would find like an inverse correlation where like the smaller the map, the more complaints on balance, and as map size grows, you like see the balance complaints fall. I guarantee it. Because we started out with all these like crazy fucking maps like Steps of War and Delta Quadrant and close positions on maps or whatever.
Those were
But we
fun,
never
man.
balanced the game for it. We just made the maps all fucking
Right,
huge.
we've had this. Me and you have had this conversation.
Yeah,
I agree with it, and I asked, dude. I posed the map question to David Kim like last week, and I mean,
Yeah,
to be
that-
fair,
We're way
though.
too far down that road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
unless they
talking
want to
about-
like drastically.
That's like talking about abortion and you have like 2 like 16-year-old kids. Like you're way too late at that point. It's murder at that point, my brother.
Oh shit. Okay, but wow. Okay.
That's an interesting point that a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't realize that in Brood War you had like specific. You would have like different builds for every map because maps were so unique that there was no. There was kind of standard play, but there were a lot of maps that required individual attention. Like you would have to prepare
Agreed.
certain maps versus certain players sometimes even too, and that doesn't. I don't think that exists as much in StarCraft 2. It's more like you veto all of the small maps as Zerg, and then you just play the big
Yeah.
maps.
Yeah, pretty much.
As long as I can 3-base as soon as possible, it's a good map. Like
No, I agree, but it is a difficult to balance that sort of scenario too.
it is when you have things like fucking force field and
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
like unless
Oh,
they would
jeez.
got the whole game for Legacy of the Void, this is how it is, and it's
But-
just like
But he likes force field, guys. Like he
Adebisi
actually
likes
likes.
force field?
No. David Kim said he liked force fields on climbing the ladder, and
why? Because he main
It's
Protoss in the beta, or what? I'm pretty sure he played random. Oh, I'm just kidding. He played
I
random.
don't know. It's crazy because it's a discussion we've had for about 2-3 years now, and wow, I was surprised. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. What's this?
Maps need a spokesman. What happened to that diamond guy? Did he like fall off the face of the earth?
Oh
or-
God!
Hey,
Don't even
oh,
bring
man.
diamond.
he fucking. I think he popped a vein in his forehead, and that was it.
He burned a
Blood
lot of
out.
bridges. Unfortunately, there's
Diamond
still a
had,
lot
like,
of good
an
people in the
aneurysm.
map. There's still a
Diamond
ton of
Diamond
good
had a-
people in the map making community.
Diamond had a
yeah.
terrible aneurysm over all of the terrible stuff going with the maps. He doesn't even remember shit. The last time we heard from Diamond, he was trying to get a seat at fucking Gamescom. And he left to go to the bathroom, and the admins couldn't even get his seat back, and he had to make a Reddit post about that. He can't even stand right because of the terrible aneurysm, how much it
Oh,
destroyed his
man.
mind so many years ago.
Oh man, that whole situation was, God. And regardless of Diamond and all that business, there's still a ton of great people in the map making community that wanna make shit happen. So, hopefully I can help out with that whenever I can. Let's see, what else do we got here? Maybe 3 more questions and we'll call it a day. Destiny, would you stream Hearthstone if you got a beta key?
Oh yeah, dude, I want that sweet viewer money. Fucking Trump has like 8K viewers right now. I would get in on that shit.
true. Trump does. Let's see. God, there's so. Let's see. I'll read one of these here. Will SE2 ever become like chess or even any other physical sport where you need to practice for at least 5 years to be able to compete at a top level? And is this different for SE2 versus MOBA games? Dude, 5 years, your career's over, man. Like, right?
I mean, I get what he's saying. It's like the whole, what is it, like 10,000 hours to be an expert on something.
You don't need 5 years.
Malcolm Gladwell, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, the more you play, the better you're going to be. It's that simple. But you only have to be as good as the other people you're competing against. So it depends. And if the game is changing, then certain skills don't apply. So, if you spent, like a year and a half getting really good with like infestors, just like making like 40 infestors, and then all of a sudden that strategy doesn't work as well anymore, then that time is kind of wasted. So
Steven.
What?
No, investor. No,
I didn't waste any time. I got my StarCraft 2 money. I pieced the fuck out. I cashed out more money from StarCraft 2 than most pros. I have no regrets.
Oh, gosh.
Fuck that shit.
No, I think maybe just kind of going a little bit further with this question is when will we see really young kids, I guess, start training? Maybe this 5 years thing, makes more sense.
What do you mean? Like Maru is already...
I mean, he's 16, right?
No,
yeah,
okay,
he was in the first season of GSL.
Yeah, but ChanManV is talking about like kids training in like fucking school to try to make it to tournaments and shit because they want to play in like 4 years. They want to go pro in 4 years. That shit's not gonna happen for a long fucking time.
Like, it's more like, what if I started training my son right now, at 7, and then he'll train for like 6, 7 years.
You should do it. We can find out.
Oh, no.
Except StarCraft's not even gonna be around by then.
Well, so yeah, StarCraft 3, but you can train mechanics at the very least, right?
Guess.
True.
Don't give him like carpal tunnel early on. Fuck. Why not get him fucking bodybuilding now? You mean like the Asian fucking
Carpal
Arnold
tunnel, man.
Schwarzenegger?
He's fucking playing the piano. You can get Carl. His hands will be strong.
I like the
Wrists
working
will
out
be
idea.
strong. What?
Just get him ripped, like Destiny said.
Get him ripped.
dude,
Oh
just
my
get him
god.
fucking-
See some of those videos. Where's those videos?
If you get him
me?
ripped now, it'll be easier to keep it up in the future. And then when he starts playing games, he'll be like the perfect combination of like can talk shit and beat the shit out of people in real life and fucking.
Oh, you're gonna do one of those chess boxing, like StarCraft boxing? Is that what we're talking about?
Sure, I don't know.
Jeez,
There's plenty of opportunities to beat people up.
StarCraft boxing, guys. That's something, man. That's something. Let's see. Okay, for Adebisi, from Aquabear, what does he think about the trend that ESL has been espousing with including the observer in the analysis desk? Should more leagues do this? If not, why not? Personally, I think you have to be a pretty damn good player to keep up with all the observing requirements at these high levels, and you automatically pick up so many nuances from watching lots of tip-top pros playing so many games.
Does he mean like me controlling the camera while Apollo is in front of the screen doing the analysis?
No,
or
I think you actually being on the desk.
Okay, because during WCS Europe, like at the end of the day, I join them at the table. I don't know. It's fun for me to do because I don't mind talking about the games afterwards with them. But it's like generally they'd rather have your Todd or Grubby or some player there who's even better, or I don't know. I mean, the observer usually with these tournaments. I mean, not WCS because it's just one group a day, but usually you're doing 12-hour days with no time to eat, so having to do shit on camera is kind of annoying sometimes. But I don't know. I don't care. I usually just go to events and do what they ask me to do. So I did that stuff during WCS Europe, and I mean, I guess it works. I mean, I think maybe it works more for me because people know me. And I do stuff like the good show, so I'm kind of like a community person. Whereas if you're just like if they brought Legend to come observe and then put him on camera, it's kind of okay, he barely knows English, so
yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I think you just kind of that's one of the things with esports. You just kind of look at who you have and you just kind of use people and try and work the best with who you've got. So sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I think the whole analysis thing, to be honest, is kind of boring. It's some events, it's you're playing a best of 3 and it's between every game they're all right, let's load up this replay and let's take a look.
I agree.
One time there was a fucking game, it was Rhett versus Hero on Entombed Valley, and I had to load up the replay and just show this cannon rush, and that was it. And so it's like, all right, here's his natural. He doesn't see he's getting cannon rush there, and then here's his third base, and he had to cancel his natural. Now he's getting cannon rushed here, and now he's going to GG out of the game, and that's basically what happened. And I mean, it's just like, why can we just go to the next game, right? So I mean, a lot of the time they just want to like fill time, so it makes sense. But like sometimes it just gets so dry. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I was
What
saying.
you're saying is you'd rather have like day 9 style casting for every match.
I don't even know what day 9 style casting
What?
means anymore. So
Screaming over everything.
oh
the screening over.
no, I mean like the post game analysis afterwards, where you're like, all right, let's go back and look at this game again.
So you
Yeah,
don't want
he's
to see
talking about
Axlab dressed up, looking at the MLG fucking live caster screen or replay shit, drawing circles,
Drawing
and stuff?
penises on the screen.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like not every time, just a little bit. So I think people, I don't know. It's funny how like tournaments go in cycles where like MLG start doing their little analysis stats, and so everyone else gets to as well, and then they need to like put in as much as possible and end up overdoing
Well,
it. So
I don't disagree with trying to improve the production in that manner because
yeah, but sometimes it's like, is this really? Sometimes less is more. Is what I'm saying, I guess.
You have to keep in mind the perspective that Adebisi is, the kind of guy that likes to make his humor on his own and doesn't like it when people parrot the same jokes over and over again. Adebisi just likes to see a little bit of originality coming out of tournaments instead of a bunch of people just circle jerking each other's ideas off, you know?
Creativity.
Yeah,
ChanManV,
creativity. Okay, creativity. Sorry. All right, last question. We got. I guess it's kind of for in general. So when an esports team signs a player for the player's marketability rather than a competitive level of player, what is the nature of the contract expectations between the two? How does this compare to a player signed solely for gaming potential? For instance, I imagine Destiny being signed to a new challenger team's CLG.worth might be done with under different conditions than a no-name 16-year-old insect. I don't know. We're picked up. I don't know what he's talking about. Is this a tactic only performed by unestablished teams looking to make a name for themselves, or are tournament results everything else?
I'm pretty sure that every single show has talked about this exact question like 27 million fucking
This
times.
is just like
every
weighing
single
personality against.
Well, I mean,
ourselves.
I think people haven't talked about this in terms of league though. Like, do any teams actually pick up people for their personalities?
No, because in League there's actually real money to be played for.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You don't disagree.
Like, you might as well pick up the personalities if the game isn't actually hard to be good at, but...
Oh, shit.
Damn, dude.
What was even the... I'm trying to find the question so I can, like, actually read it, because that was...
Here. Just, it's from...
I'm gonna go down and
Bacon
talk
Legs.
to the fucking dude
Bacon
working
Legs.
at McDonald's flipping burgers who makes more than like the average Code A player, and then we'll talk about teams picking up people for personalities.
Okay. Well,
No,
alright.
but real talk. Actually, I'm saying a lot of this facetiously, but real talk. In games like League or Dota, there is actually significant money to be played for in one, and teams don't actually need as much in terms of like marketing deals or sponsorships. Whereas in something like League, like if you're on an LCS team, like you actually get a salary from Riot. Like the whole marketing and that shit isn't as important because Riot kind of babies you through it. Kind of similar to how Kespa babied a lot of Brewbor players through it. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's apples and oranges. It's like you basically work for Riot as a professional gamer playing their game, or you try and, I mean, I wouldn't say Dota has like, you look at Dota, it's like every prize pool is smaller than StarCraft, and you're splitting it 5 ways. So
Yeah.
Oh, I
aside
don't
from
know as much. I don't
international-
know as much about Dota's prize pool, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily say you work for Riot. I mean, I guess kind of.
you're
Kinda
salaried
do.
by them.
Yeah, you're
I mean,
salaried.
You're salaried by Riot
I'm
if you're
pretty
an
sure you have to do
LCS
whatever they fucking tell you to do. So you basically work for them.
Dance.
I mean, what do you mean in
monkey.
terms of? I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I
No,
mean,
you know what I mean. I'm not like, no, maybe you literally don't work for them, but
I mean, you're not on
I mean,
their
obviously,
payroll.
Riot gives a lot more direction to how they want things to be ran in terms of like teams and whatnot. But I mean, like that's in exchange for what 40,000 a month per team or 25,000 a month
yeah.
for LC. Like I would take that trade off any day of the week, and I'm sure I'm sure 100% of StarCraft 2 players would also love that trade-off. For Blizzard to give a little bit more direction and salary teams would be fucking amazing. You got teams like StarTale and IAM that aren't even salaried. Is IAM even in existence anymore? Oh, LGIM.
Yeah.
Well, they're
They're
trying.
still
They're hanging
operating.
on.
Yeah.
Kind of in existence. So I mean,
All right, there's one more. There's one more good question. So let me end it with that. That question was not the greatest. What do you guys think about SE2L? I think, or he said I think, sponsorship increasing price pool with purchasing of their product. Would something like this with Newegg or something be feasible?
I don't know. Hold on. Somebody said that would be awesome, but Blizzard has zero incentive to do that. I mean, it depends on your fucking model. Like, the current model that Blizzard has set up with StarCraft, obviously they have zero incentive to do that. But I mean, like, you could argue that Valve had zero incentive to do the TI3, except they set it up in such a way that they could actually make money doing it. Like, there's no reason why Blizzard couldn't do the same thing. Don't be a fucking idiot. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about SC2L? Basically, including a mechanism for increasing the prize pool by purchasing a sponsor's product.
I mean, if you want to do it, sure. I mean,
Why not just do it? If you're gonna...
I feel like a real asshole if I had to be in control though and try to sell those fucking routers though, man.
Yeah, those
like, I
routers
get
are
people
a
sleep
fucking
at night.
rip-off. Oh my fucking god. It's like a $300 gaming router or some stupid shit. Like,
$200. It's like 10 of it goes to the prize pool, man.
$10 goes to the prize pool. Like, at that point, honestly, I make more
Router
money like
costs, like-
fucking affiliate linking off of Amazon. Like, just get a fucking affiliate link and market that shit and add it to the prize pool. Like, that deal was a fucking rip-off. The company that came in with that offer, like, oh man, dude, I don't even know. Like, that makes me angry. Like, that's like trying to take advantage. Like, that was such a fucking rip-off. Buy our shitty, insanely fucking overpriced, worthless router that you would never buy in any other, real-life scenario so that you could support esports, and we'll throw $10 per overpriced fucking $15 to make manufactured in Taiwan bullshit router with all these fucking buzzwords. Oh man, dude, that was some bullshit. That was some bullshit.
Okay, so I guess you would disagree with it then. I mean, it matters. This is kind of a general statement, right? So
those are things when you talk about like affiliate marketing and shit, those are things that like little people do. I'm pretty sure that when you go to big companies and you start talking about things like exposure and brand recognition and all of that, like usually you have like a whole advertising department that's set up to determine the value and worth of a team, right? I'm pretty sure that
well,
like, I don't know, like Total Biscuit could probably speak more to that, and I'm sure that when Total Biscuit like goes to talk to a marketing firm, Total Biscuit isn't going to go like, okay, like we're going to like link your product, and when we sell you some, you can give my team money. I'm sure that Total Biscuit has like a whole deck of exposure that each of the individuals on his team gets based on their previous tournament wins, the amount of people that attend said tournaments, the amount of exposure that they get via his YouTube and all that shit. Like, I'm sure that there's more of that than like, give me a product that we'll link on our YouTube to sell, and then you can give us money if we sell the product. Like that, I don't know. That's like a really, really immature, like, I'm 14 years old and I want to make a little bit of money on my website approach to selling things,
I mean, who's to say that they're not? I mean, we're only looking at the mechanism, how they're increasing the prize pool.
The prize pool went up about $2,000 almost, so this is what they're saying.
Yeah.
So they've sold like 100 routers.
Wow.
So I don't know. I mean,
I would be more happy if the product wasn't like a total fucking scam.
No, it's the kind of thing I'd totally be behind
but that's
it.
just that's the product.
Like if it was like how cool would it have been if they would have said like for any product that you buy from the company, so like I do need a new router, and I do at home, like I did need a new router, and it's like, okay, so I can go buy like a $70 router, and I can write in the referral that I bought it because of the advertisement I saw there, and then like maybe they would add a little bit, even like $1 or $2 to the price. Well, it's just the fact that they did it on like such a shit fucking overpriced piece of crap hardware, like pushing it towards that, like those are products that I already hate without them even trying to be that scumbaggish. Like, I already hate seeing overpriced, shitty fucking gaming hardware like that. To do that in conjunction with, like, esports is, like, the ultimate, like, dick ride in a negative way, in my opinion.
I mean, everything... Okay, so every single sponsor, every single manufacturer is going to be overpriced. It's going to be overpriced, dude. Even, like, you're doing Razer or you're doing TTE, whatever, right? I mean... they're all overpriced.
Well, there's been like an extra $20, $15 for a mouse and a $200 router.
Yeah, there is a big difference. Like when you're talking about like the professional difference between like when you talk about the difference between like mice and keyboards, a lot of that is aesthetics, and brand is actually important there. Like I would never argue to somebody that like, wow, you wasted $300 on Nikes or whatever, because Nikes is like the fucking dick waving value or whatever. Like you get to like wave your dick and shit if you got like a nice Razer gear and they look nice and it's cool, and like I can understand paying a little bit more because you want that brand recognition. Like the stuff that I pimp from Phoenix, I think all of their stuff looks nice, but it's pretty on the expensive side. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm not gonna tell you that the mouse isn't pretty fucking expensive or the mouse pad isn't expensive. But when you talk about like a fucking gaming router, like don't piss on my leg and then rape me in the ass. I don't know how that saying goes, but like for them to take a router and to throw like all those ridiculous buzzwords around it, like this is the fastest gaming router, give the edge on your opponents and boost your FPS and fucking annihilate have sex with your opponent's mom and beat him in game at the same time with the new gaming router that's gonna make your experience 50 million, 60,000, 9,000 times better. Like that shit is just obnoxious. It's obnoxious all on its own, and to specially market it to the gaming community and then say we'll support esports more if you buy our overpriced piece of shit on top of that. There's like so much wrong with that. No, am I the only one that feels that way? I feel like there's a lot of shit that's wrong with that, like all together, that makes it like even worse than.
Well, I think if you had a lot of choices, then
if it was anything,
it's like sure, yeah, if you could choose something differently.
If it was anything besides that piece of shit router, then I think it would have been okay. If they would have marked it on all routers, that would have been fine. Then whatever.
Yeah, if they had like another router that was like their
I agree with
$40 router and only gave $5, I think the community actually would have been like, oh, this is really cool. But instead, it's like you're gonna like, because what's the margin on a router like that? It's got to be fucking insane. And $10 is like, I think people out there would rather fucking like donate their money than spend $200 on a router to get 10
that's a good
of
point too. Like I want to support like
point.
What did he say? There were 100 people that bought those routers that wanted to support esports. I guarantee you that 100 of those people could have bought a router for $100. That's still a fucking nice router for $100. Could have bought a $100 router, and they could have just donated those extra $100 per person to esports, and that would have been $80 per router that they wasted money on that would have gone towards the prize pool instead. You know, like. And they wouldn't even have had to do like a shitty sponsorship deal at that point. That would have been a completely fucking paid for thing on its own.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But just getting back to the original question, I don't disagree with at least the structure of it, which is, the sponsor actually pushes. I mean, the product actually gets sold for the sponsor, right? I mean, the benefits of being part of these events or associated with whatever team or whatever is resulting in product sales, as well as it's helping the prize pool for the players. So
look at the Pizza GG stuff. Like that was a good deal. Like that was actually Pizza GG was even more. Like 25% off would have been fine. Although they run discounts all the time and shit, but like 50% off a pizza, like that was a really good marketing thing. Mm-hmm. In terms of selling products, supporting esports, even though we never got a lot of those tiers that we unlocked, we never actually saw anything.
They're coming, bro. They're coming.
But that was a good idea.
So
nobody was mad. Nobody was mad about that because it's fucking pizza. People like pizza. People eat pizza, and it was a really good discount. I don't even think they offered a discount on these routers, did they?
Oh, I think there actually maybe was like a coupon code for $20. So maybe it was like I don't know. But yeah, I mean the other thing that's problematic about this is that like it's like this is coming out with SC2L, which is like. When that got announced, it's like, oh, by the way, guys, these replays are all 2-3 months old, and by the way, like, InControl's going to be solo casting this, and like...
Games that they already know the
There's like a lot of
results
people
games that they already know the results of, like, oh man, dude. How can we still be... This is 2013, and people are still following...
Dude, Jeff said he does not know the results of the games.
I don't know. There were some people saying it was pretty fucking obvious in some of the casts that they knew...
I remember hearing that. I think it was like from IPL back in the day. HD and Pain user. I think it was like HD used to like pre-watch games or something.
Really?
But yeah, I don't know. InControl posted that he said he doesn't know the results except sometimes with the EG games because he has to help do whatever. I don't know, but just the whole casting replay thing. I think that's what. If I was Blizzard, I'd just be like, look, fuck this. The games have to be live. Because it's like there's already too much content out there, it's all blah blah blah, and who wants to watch
do that? I mean, they can do
like
whatever they
a day
want.
or two, like a week at the absolute most. Like you can't be casting replays in 2013 that are 2 or 3 months old, or like it's too much, man.
Hey, at least they're casting Heart of the Swarm games, okay?
Dude, when MLG was doing their like when Heart of the Swarm was coming out, and they're like doing the qualifier matches for their first event, and it was like the game had been patched 2 or 3 times since what they're casting. It's just like I feel disrespectful to like the audience to like show them that like here's our new game, guys, and
they watch
like
it though, man. I mean, what can you say? I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah. But, all right, guys, let's wrap it up. Kind of went over quite a bit, but good talks. I knew it'd be fun with Mike here, Adebisi here on the show.
Sorry if it sounds like we rag on EG a lot. We're just trying to provide a counterbalance to live on EG or live on whatever.
Which is starting right about now, guys. Starting right about now.
So guys, go over and check them out.
Yeah, go ahead. Actually, I think they're doing a duo cast of that. Or
it's
just
got
Jeff
rid of
Jeff and
stuff
DJ Wheat.
Having too many outside opinions, so it's only in control now.
I know they just cut the bottom row. No, they cut the 2 guys on the left there.
We brought in ex special caster LZ Gamer, who's going to join EG for a couple more months.
Oh my god, Jake would be interesting, but all right, but Mike. Big thanks for coming on, bud. It's a good time. It's gonna have you on here more too because this is too much fun. I think our discussions are quite good with you in the mix here.
It's a quite lively, fun time.
Of course.
But
you want to do any shout outs or thank yous?
No, I don't.
Damn.
Really?
No.
Wow. Okay. All right. Steven, you want to do any?
I want to give a big shout out. I want to get sponsored by the Outback Steakhouse. I actually just realized that. That would be the sickest fucking sponsorship ever, dude. I would be so happy.
Dude, the awesome blossom there is so good.
Shout out to Phoenix. Their keyboard should be out soon, TM. Shout out to ChanManV for having me on. Thanks to all my fans. I love you very much. If you love me, then go to destiny.gg and subscribe to my website. My chat is cool, and I love all of you. That's it, I think.
Awesome. For me, again, big thanks to my... Oh.
I'm sorry, real fast.
He always has something at the end, man.
I
always get interrupted.
I have a friend. I haven't talked to him in quite a while. I'm sorry, it's kind of awkward. I haven't talked to him in quite a while. He has Hearthstone beta key. He really wants to play more, but he's kind of... he's just like in a situation where he can't as much as he would like to. So if you could just send a tweet at follow2gd and ask him what his PayPal is and just donate a few bucks so that he can afford some booster packs or whatever. I would really appreciate it, guys.
Why don't you link it in the chat for everybody?
That's at follow2gd. Ask for his PayPal. He really needs a few donations to get his Hearthstone going. He's really bummed out that a lot of other streamers get them. And
well, you have to include. You have to include a reason too. Just include that. Really enjoy the streaming.
Yeah. Tell him you really enjoy the streaming. You know he needs a hand. And you just feel like you could help him out more by sending some donations his way. So, at follow2gd. I think his name is Justin.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Justin. Yeah, exactly. For me, big thanks to both of you guys, Mike and Steven, of course, every week. And for those of you watching the show, really appreciate you guys watching us each and every week. Follow the channel if you would like to get notified anytime shows go live or maybe even my late night Hearthstone streaming these nights. If you want to watch any of the show VODs, you can find them at youtube.com/ChanManV. Part 1 and 2 are already there, so if you missed the beginning of the show, you can go check it out right now. And I guess if you want to support the shows, I guess you can subscribe to the shows if you'd like. I'm going to have some more emoticons coming too soon, guys, so I don't know when that's going to happen. I've been waiting for like a week now for some of these emoticons, so should be cool. So I got a couple of them that are pretty fun that you'll get to use. But outside of that, that's going to be it for Unfiltered for this week. So
Can I give a quick suggestion?
Yeah, what?
I don't know if it would be possible to do, but a fucking hilarious episode would be to bring James on just for that one topic, the donation thing, and I can bring on a guest to counteract him. Do you know who Hafu is? That
Yes, I know Hafu. She's
because
awesome.
she feels really strong.
She's awesome.
She feels really strong about donations, and I used to agree with James 100% that the donations is like a really bad thing. But she's talked to me a lot about it, and she's really
I've
smart.
talked to you about it too.
Yeah. But she's really smart, and she can argue well. It's not going to be like a stupid like
No,
one-sided.
Hafu's great. If you can get Hafu on,
James
that'd be
knows her
fun.
too, so that would actually.
Yeah, dude. That would be really funny. Those guys have history. It would be really funny to see those two argue on.
James would freaking respond to me. I don't know what the hell, man. Jeez. Okay, I'll get James on here soon.
All right.
Yeah, we can do that. But okay, guys, for Adebisi, Destiny, and ChanManV, we will see you next time. Later.